Hello and welcome back. Today we will like to analyze the inbound receiving process and understand what are the key things that goes inside. Of course, the put away rule is the primary factor when you receive the purchase order, but there are many things apart from the rules. So let's start first. First, we'll check the material workbench. This is the screen given to see the on-hand quantity, and you can search by various ways. I can quickly show you how the screen look like. This is the warehouse manager. You have a inquiry screen, and this is the material workbench screen. This workbench will eventually will be used by the supervisor or by the consultant whenever you have to inquire and check what is lying in the inbound. That means that any purchase order that you are expected to receive, anything which you are already been there in the receiving area but not yet delivered, and the one which are already delivered. So this is a very important flags that will help a warehouse manager to plan for the warehouse activity. You can search by sub inventory and different items through which you can find. So this is one area. After doing the put away, you can verify how the on-hand quantity look like. Second thing, we have to understand what's the difference between the loose quantity and pack quantity. I'll just update this should be quantity. So loose quantity, if you're coming from the inventory world, then anything which is stored in Oracle inventory organization, there everything is loose, so there is no concept of pack in the inventory world. But when it comes to WMS, you have a choice to pack the quantity that you are receiving, and packing is done with the help of LPN. So when you store an LPN into a sub inventory, that time the packed quantity gets updated. And in the material workbench, you can actually see whether the on hand quantity is in loose or in pack. So the two separate column for that. An item which is in packed condition, there would be a need to associate an LPN to it. So that system will generate an LPN at the time of receiving, and when you put it away, the LPN still goes with that if it is a packed on hand. Now, whether to choose between loose or pack, this distinction is done at the sub-inventory level. When you create a new sub-inventory in WMS, you have to provide whether it's a loose sub-inventory or LPN controlled sub-inventory. So let me show you those flags. If I go to sub-inventory and query some of the sub-inventory, let's say I'm going to each is not an LPN control. That means anything that you store in this sub inventory will be stored as loose. Let's see the bulk. Bulk is LPN controlled, so anything that you store in bulk will be LPN controlled. So this flag is the distinction between a loose as well as LPN. Let's now go back to the last point. We wanted to simulate and see if we do a PO receiving, and if you receive through the Oracle inventory form, how on-hands are stored. Of course, it will store in loose, and while we receive the same purchase order using the MSCA, then you will see that if we are putting it away in a sub-inventory which is LPN control, then you will see the pack quantity is getting updated. So let's quickly do this exercise. Okay, so let's go to the purchase order screen to make a PO. So I type in the purchase order related information. Okay, I've already created a product WMS buy one, just to save some time. I can get the PO for, that's a 20 quantity, some need by date, save it and approve it. Click on approve button. Click on OK. Okay, so the PO is approved 6042. I'll try and receive this PO from the MSCA first and see whether the on-hand quantity is stored in bulk or loose. Sorry, whether it's stored in loose or packed. And then a same PO, some of the quantity I'll try to receive through the inventory, and then we'll compare. So let's copy this. This is my MSCA screen. Okay, so I'll go to the warehouse mobile management, inbound receiving PO number or code to provide BW1. Okay, let's enter the organization code BW1. PO number 6042. Sorry, 6042. Line number, I have only one line. I can do Control L to get the line number. LPN, I can just type, let's say L100. Okay, so it's asking me subinventory and locator, so I will deliberately put each subinventory and some locator. Oh, sorry, it's all in uppercase. So you see there is a message here, do the Control B. Item cannot be packed into a non-LPN control subinventory. So this particular item we are putting into LPN and we are giving a non-LPN control, so it cannot be packed. Right, so we can just skip this and then give the any locator. Let's choose first rack, and now you can put the quantity. Let's put 5 quantity and done. So this was a direct receipt example, because in this PO itself we have specified the subinventory and locator. Then one step we are creating the on-hand quantity. So in each we have created the on-hand quantity, and we will go ahead and check the material workbench, see whether the on-hand quantity has been created or not. Okay, transaction is successful. Let's go ahead and check the material workbench. So we switch responsibility, go to warehouse manager, then you have material workbench. You can also navigate from inquiry, material workbench, go for our organization Bangalore warehouse 1, put the sub inventory each, and put your item the code WMS buy 1. Okay, click the find button. I can expand this a bit, scroll right. You see the 5 is the on-hand quantity which is created, and you see packed is 0, unpacked is 5. So coming to the slide, so we created on-hand quantity of loose 5 and the pack quantity is 0 in this example. Now we do one more time PO receiving, and this time we'll like to store them in a LPN control sub inventory. So we'll test this. Okay, so go back to this LPN PO number again. We receive the same PO for another 5 quantity 6042. Control L to see the line number. There is only one. Enter command. Let's put the LPN 100 sub inventory. This time we go bulk, because we know bulk is an LPN controlled sub inventory. So I'm gonna put 6 quantity and done and done. So I created transaction successful. Let's go ahead and search the material workbench again, and this time we will search the Instead of each, we'll search bulk. You see the packed quantity has come as 6. So the 6 is because this is an LPN control sub inventory, that's why it's coming as 6. If you want to check the LPN information, you drill down, and then bulk, you got the locator, and this is the LPN 100 6 quantity. So this is the difference of a LPN control sub inventory versus a non LPN control sub inventory. So with this, we can now verify that if you receive this PO and then you're receiving it which sub inventory, that will determine whether we'll get the LPN and then the packed quantity, right? So we can do one last check using the PO receiving through Oracle inventory just to see the difference. So let's go to the inventory module to receive it. We can generate receipts from here also. Same PO number 6042. Sorry, we type in 6042, find this PO. This is the receipt number screen. We'll ignore. 5 is left. Let's say we want to receive 1 unit. Where you want to receive it? Let's say I want to receive in bulk. I give some locator also. Let's say I will deliberately choose the second one, like B2. So in this locator, 1 unit of on-hand quantity will be created. Now there is no provision to provide the LPN details in this. So although the sub-inventory is bulk, which is LPN controlled, but while you receive from this screen, you will only get the loose quantity. So once I save it, I can check the on-hand quantity in B2 to see how this things has come up. So it's a saved transaction completed. All right, so let's go ahead and check the material workbench. So I'm gonna search the bulk sub inventory. I have an item called WMS by percentage. I'll drill down. On hand quantity in bulk, I got 1 locator B1. Okay. Still the other one has not yet come. The first line 6 is coming, the 1 is not yet shown. I got to run the program receiving transaction processor, let it complete, and then we'll check again. Okay, the processor has completed, and you can now see 2 lines has come. B1, which was originally we had 6, and just now we created 1 on hand quantity. We scroll right, although this is in bulk sub inventory, but different locator, and you can say it's come as unpacked. So it means that if you receive the purchase order through the normal Oracle forms, not using MSCA screen, then everything what you get is unpacked or loose, irrespective of whether the sub inventory is LPN controlled or not. But while you use the MSCA screen, then system will check the sub inventory, and accordingly it will put it into packed or loose state of the product. So this confirms that Oracle MSCA is the only source point to get the LPN, and through which you can create the packed on hand quantity. So we can now conclude this whole session. So we analyze this particular thing, loose, pack, LPN, sub inventory. We've also compared the receiving of the items through the standard Oracle forms as well as Oracle MSCA screen, and we have advantage in MSCA that it respects the LPN, and it's continue to store the LPN details in the on-hand screen. So with this we come to the conclusion of the session. Thank you. Stay tuned for the next session.